Welcome back to Scissors and Scrubs. I'm Nicole.
I'm Laura.
And it is the season.
Ooh.
Jingle bells, Santa smells, Rudolph laid an egg. It's my favorite time of year, right after Halloween. Hey! Okay, so we've been doing this podcast for a couple of years, so we're digging. We're digging for some topics. So Laura came across the British Medical Journal puts out these Bizarro studies
Every Christmas. Like as like a treat to themselves.
Yes.
They do actual
they're
studies.
like the American Journal, and when I tell you like a study, it is a study as if they were studying how cancer affects people who smoke. Like,
it's like an actual study.
I mean, and when we tell you the topics, you're going to start laughing because these studies are ridiculous.
Yeah.
But they actually took science. You know that scientists are like the geekiest people in the world.
And they're like, it's going to be Christmas.
We can't live without them. No. But they're like, oh my God, this is what we're gonna do the placebo. And they take it very serious. Yes. So we get some funny stuff.
So they do this funny study every year at Christmas. So these are from all different years at Christmas from the British Medical Journal.
So mine, I'm going to start with mine.
Mayan?
Or Mayan. I went Revere for you. And
yeah,
when people, but that's Mayans.
That's Mayan.
It's my underwears. That was the other one too. When they would say underwears, I'm like, underwear is already plural. So why are we saying that?
One.
Yeah. Mayans. So mine, if I was doing proper medical journal English, this guy who did the study is an older gentleman.
Oh.
And he became fascinated with a unicycle. And he wanted one. And his wife was like, go buy a unicycle if that makes you happy. So he bought his unicycle and he decided to do a study on the effects of people, their responses to him on the unicycle.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I tore off the first page of what the actual title of the study is, but this is what the study is. They are watching him ride. He did this over the course of a year. Actually, I might have written some of it down. He did it over the course of a year. And he documented age groups, gender, every kind of comment that was said to him. And here it is. Yep, I did write it down a little bit. Okay. When he was cycling on his unicycle, he wore the same bland tracksuit or sweatsuit, as we would say in the United States. Same trainers or sneakers, as we would say in the United States. And he had the same neutral facial demeanor. It was a 1-year experiment. It recorded responses of those who observed him on his unicycle. Okay. He did the estimated age, the relationships, the class from how they were dressed. Like
he was judging.
He was judging their speech and their behavior. He recorded 400 people in a year.
Oh my God.
His results, less than 5% had no reaction to him at all. Mostly elderly men and teenage girls could have given a shit he was on a unicycle. 1% to 2% expressed anger or distaste for fear of collision.
Oh, yeah.
Mostly elderly with walking sticks.
Yeah, that makes sense.
90% showed physical response, from exaggerated stare or to a wave. The sex difference in responses. 95% of women praised, encouraged, or showed concern for him on his said unicycle. 25% of the men showed praise or appreciation, but 75 of them were attempts at comedy, often snide or proffered combatively, like they were putting him down as he would go by. 60% of these snide comments referred to the number of wheels or the absence of handlebars, or that it was stolen. Some remarks were fired off as if rehearsed on approach. So they see him coming and they're like, I'm going to say this when he goes by. Some paused, trying to think of what to say, and commented to him after he passed. Okay.
Did this happen in Boston? Sounds like it might have happened in Boston.
He's wearing trainers. This clearly was not in Boston. All right. Let's see. The sex difference in the type of responses was striking. As I said, the women showed more concern. The men were trying to have comedy. So the verbal responses to unicycling. Early years. Mother to a son who's about 5 years old. Oh, look, why is he riding on one wheel? Mother to son in a pram. Isn't that clever? The boy repeated, clever. Father to son about 3 years old. Look, his bike's only got one wheel. Wonder what happened to the other.
Man, guy trying to make a joke.
Yep. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. Man, there's going to be quite a few comments. All right. So, man to daughter, about 4 years old. Look, he's got no handlebars. Boy of 3 to 4 to his mother. Mummy, the man broke his bike. It's only got one wheel. Does it sound like Boston?
Yeah, no.
Be like a fucking moron on the bike. Who rides a unicycle
rides
around
a
fucking Boston?
wheel.
Dumbass. That's what Boston would be
Yes.
saying. Okay. Inquisitive 5 to 12-year-olds.
Oh.
Was it hard to learn? Where did you buy them? How much did it cost? Why do you use only one wheel? All right. Aggressive boys.
Oh, teenagers.
Do you want to knock them over? Yeah, I bet I could do it. While kicking a football. Good. Got a target.
Oh, God.
Riding at me on a bicycle. Fall off, Granddad. Oh, those little fuckers over there, huh? All right.
That sounds like Boston.
Yeah. Sudden loud shouts. Then they threw small pebbles at me. Loud noises. Then, you're going to fall off. You're going to fall off.
Oh my
What are you,
God.
what are you, 12? Yeah,
Yes,
actually, they are
yeah,
12. Women. You make it look so easy. You should dress as Santa for the children. Because Santa
On a
rides a fucking unicycle. Maybe one reindeer, but he's not riding one unicycle. What? You should. Have these people experienced Christmas?
I don't know.
All right. God, that must be difficult. Well done. Clever. Clever.
I'm going to start saying
Wonderful. Clever. I am impressed. I'm going to say, what's the other one they say?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It's when they're excited about
Yeah,
not capital. Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah. I mean, it's brilliant. Wonderful. I am impressed. Magic. It's magic. No, it's not. It's physics. You are an Olympic champion.
Oh!
I wish I could do that. Oh, that looks good. That must need a wonderful balance. Now here come the men.
Okay.
Wheels. Minor variation of the first two were the most common. Lost your wheel? Hey, you know you only got one wheel? Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I look for the other wheel. Couldn't you afford the other wheel? These guys are original.
Yeah.
Woo! They're original. Handlebars. Do you know you lost your handlebars? Is it easier with nay handlebars?
Nay.
Lost something? Lost half your bike. Somebody pinched half his. Oh, I got a page flip. Hold on a second. I'm not as quick on the page flip as I should be. These men are something. There's a part missing, isn't there? Where's the other bits then? English bits.
Yeah.
Bits
and bobbles.
Bits and bobbles. It's got bits and bobbles. Circus and juggling. The tune of entry of the gladiators. Do you want music? I don't even know what that one means. To tune of entry of the gladiators.
Yeah, I was going to say they must sing. Yeah.
I didn't know the circus was in town. Thought about joining a circus. Forgotten your mimed juggling.
Oh my God.
This is why we need to record the podcast, because I just mime juggling for everybody. Indirect put-ons. You must like living dangerously. Odd things you find on cycles. And what were your other birthday presents? That's the best one I heard yet, to be honest with you. Is it a new form of transportation then? I suppose it saves on tires, Tyres. Mm-hmm. Do you park your bike for 2 minutes and then that's what you're left with? These people are middle-class men. I don't know how we judge middle-class men, but, That's unique. I'm envious. I couldn't do that. That's great. I wish I had a camera. Oh, that's good. What a star you are. I would never say that.
I think that's an indirect insult.
What a star you are.
That should have been under the indirect insult.
This guy must have had a field day
awesome.
writing this shit down. Elderly men. Arthritic man. It's quick on a walk. Man moving poorly with effort. Glad I don't have to do that. Arthritic man. Better you than me. I wouldn't even get up on it. Oh, that's what she said. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Ugh. I think that's it for the 2 men walking together. Asked seriously, not as a joke. Are you practicing for a circus then? Does it crush your bollocks, mate? Oh, evolution of responses. Young children usually showed curiosity and drew their parents' attention to the unicycle as often as the converse. Parental comments showed a sex difference. Fathers' remarks were either typically male, about the wheels and shit, or practical, maintaining balance, whereas mothers' comments were usually praised and usually informed the children, like, oh, isn't he great? Isn't he wonderful? Boys and girls 5 to 12 usually showed interest. They often asked practical questions about learning. 11 to 13, they were aggressive, which continued throughout the school years. They tried to put him off balance by suddenly shouting, jumping,
They're assholes.
kicking a football, throwing stones, or riding a bike at him.
Oh my God.
A few asked for a ride, in addition to, hey, I'm going to knock you out, but can I ride that thing?
But hey, can I jump on?
Okay, how about I beat you to death with it? A further change in male behavior was seen during late teens. Aggressive deceased, but they tried to make disparaging jokes, which were sometimes incorporated into mocking songs. This change continued and finally evolved into adult male humor with its concealed aggression.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love men. Female responses were subdued during puberty and late teens, with apparent indifference or minimal approval, such as a tentative smile.
Mm-hmm.
It then evolved...
as per teenage girls
Yes.
do. Yeah.
A little smirk. It then evolved to the laudatory and concerned adult female response, like, oh, be careful, are you going to be all right? Really, a joke was made by girls in male company. And then miscellaneous observations were men who seemed to be of higher social class, older men, and the few Indian and Asian people he encountered gave more approving and fewer comic responses. The response of people in cars was remarkable. Young men in old cars were very aggressive, acting as if to frighten me off the road.
God.
They lowered their windows and shouted abusively, waving their arms and hooted. I did not see this with women drivers or older men in more expensive cars. It goes on to discuss his findings, but there is a man in my town who rides a unicycle.
No, there isn't.
Yes, there is.
No, there isn't.
Yes, there is.
Oh my God.
Yes, there is. And he rides it thinking he is the coolest thing that life has ever presented to my town. And every time we see him, my husband's response is, are you shitting me? That asshole's on that fucking unicycle again. And then I'm like, he's going to kill himself. That's what I
You're
said.
worried about his safety, and
So,
Brian's like,
I did an English study. There it is right there.
Yeah.
He's going to kill himself on that thing.
yeah. Does he know there's a curb?
He's got to be my age or older. I don't even want to get on a regular bike.
Why?
Because I'm afraid of breaking a hip.
Why is
What?
he on a unicycle?
So, I mean, I don't know how much I can disclose on my
Probably not a
podcast,
lot.
but he's divorced because he set the garage on fire.
Oh.
He's something.
Mm.
Nice man.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice man.
The unicycle didn't push the divorce.
That came after, I believe.
Oh, that makes
but
sense.
he fancies himself like an inventor.
Mm.
So he does a lot of weird things.
Does he wear goggles on the unicycle?
No, he
You
does
know what
wear
I mean?
a bike
Like
helmet.
those big.
No, he wears a bike helmet. He does wear a bike helmet. There was a separate man who juggles on the beach. I think the two of them should get together.
They
and they
should
could
do a
have a
little
little
act.
sideshow right there on the beach. It'd be interesting. But yeah, so he
Wow.
juggles. Okay, so what do you got,
No,
Sparkles?
I like that setting. So mine is much shorter than that. I have a study,
I had to incorporate all the responses.
yes, from December 20th, 2007, in the BMJ about the descent of the testes
Oh,
by Gareth
that
Williams.
should be a movie, The Descent of
Yes.
the Testes.
It's by Gareth Williams and Poonam
Gareth, that is such an English
Damaraj.
name. Oh, Poonam.
Poonam. So I'm just going to read this to you.
I
So,
can't wait.
We previously reported that 2 chocolates, teasers and truffles,
Bubbles and bits and teasers and truffles.
was strikingly similar to the 8 ml bead of the orchidometer used to assess testicular volume. So these chocolates are the same size as the
As a
thing
testicle.
that they use to assess the size of a testicle. We therefore suggested that they could be used to stage puberty in males, the chocolates. And because of their wide availability and low cost, commend their
Wide
use.
availability and low cost.
They commend their
Perfect
use.
for his testicular study.
But we were recently dismayed to discover that the manufacturer has changed the shape of both of these chocolates.
Oh,
Both
well,
are
that's
now
unacceptable.
flat-bottomed. And even non-specialists will notice that they bear little resemblance to testes.
Is it because everybody said they
They
look
look like
balls
testicles,
and they
possible?
stopped making them shaped
Well,
like balls?
they used it as a meter.
Well, they can't now.
So now they're
Balls aren't
flat-bottomed,
flat.
and non-specialists would even know they don't
They
look
are
like
not.
testes.
Well,
More disturbingly, they are no longer much use for assessing testicular volume.
that makes me very upset.
Only 1 of 6 pediatric endocrine specialists
Use these
felt
chocolates.
confident that they could use the new teasers or truffles to gauge testicular volume relative to the 8 ml cutoff, which indicates that puberty is proceeding satisfactorily.
I am going to start referring to everybody's testicles as teasers and truffles.
This is a major setback for pediatric endocrinology, and the manufacturer's decision to change the sweet's morphology without consulting the medical profession is a further kick in the teasers. Despite conveying our concerns...
Not the truffles, just the teasers.
Yeah. Despite conveying our concerns to the manufacturer, we have received no clear explanation nor any reassurance that this issue is being taken seriously.
I'll be honest with you. I think if the guys who are doing a testicular study are talking to you that your shit doesn't look like balls anymore, is even more reason why you have to change the teasers and truffles.
We appreciate that marketing chocolates is a matter of great commercial sensitivity and hope that we have not inadvertently hit a delicate spot by drawing attention to the fact that these sweets looked and felt like testes. Our paper made it absolutely clear that both teasers and truffles tasted better than the wooden orchidometer beads, and we speculate better than testes.
So they tasted the beads?
No, they didn't. It's a joke.
Like they put that shit rolling around their mouth?
No, they made it clear that they must taste better than the wooden meter, and they speculate they must taste better than testes.
I would like to at least know that they speculated on that. That does make me happy.
Clearly, the original design should be reinstated. With skillful marketing, this could play to the manufacturer's advantage by including a simple package insert with clear, easy-to-fill instructions. Young males could self-evaluate their puberty status. While pointing out
they could look for cancer.
While pointing out that this should not ideally be done at the point of sale. This could provide a rare opportunity for the chocolate industry to become palpably involved in public health promotion.
Oh, wouldn't that be a combo?
We feel it imperative for Master Foods to restore teasers and truffles to their former aesthetic and functional glory. We therefore urge readers to sign the petition at chalknuts@bris.ac.uk.
Chalknuts. I'm signing that petition.
This is a study in the British Medical Journal.
Well, mine is not as fun as teasers and truffles, which when I go home and I'm going to say, hey, Brian, how are the teasers and truffles? You're like, what are you talking about? I'm going to forever refer to them now as I'm going to be in GU on Tuesday. Be like, where's the teasers and truffles at?
Oh, those teasers and truffles don't look right.
They're flat on the bottom. What happened? Okay, well, mine does not talk about teasers and truffles. Mine talks about wine, black tea, schnapps, and Swiss cheese fondue.
Almost as good.
This is a study of the BMJ, published December 15th of 2010. It got a little technical at first, so I'm going to skip over because it literally got into like carbohydrate, all these like chemical names. I couldn't do it. Okay. So claims about the benefits or otherwise of drinking alcoholic beverages with food, especially high-fat, high-energy meals such as cheese fondue, are conflicting. In Switzerland, some traditionalists demand that white wine is drunk with the classic winter dish, whereas others insist that only black tea is appropriate. Why don't we just have water? The debate continues after dinner as to whether a shot of spirits will promote digestion and digestive comfort. The evidence base is weak, however. Grave concerns about the correct choice of beverage seem to exist. For example, a questionnaire study indicated that respondents anticipated severe side effects from drinking Coke with fondue, ranging from dyspepsia to death.
Yeah.
Coke is amazing. It's like it should be marketed in the pharmacies.
It is, but I wonder if they feel like...
Heavy?
Yeah.
It's going to be heavy.
Yeah.
Cheese fondue with fucking anything is
white
going to be...
wine, I feel like, would be good with cheese fondue.
Laura, let's see what the study has to say about that.
Right.
They tested 20 healthy adults, 14 men, 6 women. The mean age was 37.5 years of age. Okay. The body mass index between everybody was 23.6.
Oh, we're definitely in
And
there.
that was over 2 days, at least 1 week apart, they've measured them. Okay. None of the participants had a history of alcohol misuse or gastrointestinal disease. None were taking prescription drugs. Half stated a preference for white wine with the fondue. The test meal. After a minimum fast of 6 hours, the participants ingested 20 grams of fondue made with Swiss cheese. It literally gives you the content of the cheese, like 52 grams of protein, 2 grams of carbohydrate. Using 50%, I can never pronounce this cheese, Gruyere cheese, and 50% Bourgeois cheese in a fondue. labeled with, it goes in, the cheese was heated using individual, had its own little
Those
things.
little fondue things.
And it was consumed with 100 grams of cubed dry bread. This is how technical this thing was.
It's so good though when you dip that cube bread into the cheese.
On each study day during the test meal, the participants drank either 300 milliliters of white wine, Fondant Vala, Coupe Basal was the wine, which had, and it gives you the thing, or 300 milliliters of black tea according to the randomization protocol.
Okay.
At 90 minutes, according to a balanced second randomization of the participants, they ingested either 20 milliliters of cherry schnapps or 20 milliliters of water. So they would eat, drink, and 20 minutes later, they either had schnapps or water. Okay. Let's see what we say here. Oh, they go into alcohol breath tests. Alcohol in breath was assessed before the ingestion of the fondue every 15 minutes for 4 hours with a standard breath test device used by traffic police to measure alcohol concentrations to rule out artifacts the participants rinsed their mouth with. So in case there was anything else, and they rinsed out with water before everything. Results. From early during the meal and throughout the study, the recovery curves for... It's C13. They measured the ratio of the food with the C13 to the breast sample. So when I say C13, it's the food. They were lower for wine consumed than for tea, indicating slower gastric emptying. In addition, the recovery rate decreased immediately after ingestion of schnapps, which was most evident in association with the tea. So if they had alcohol, their stomach didn't empty as fast as it did with the tea, which is why they probably would feel a lot better. Okay. Ingestion of the test meal increased fullness and decreased the appetite score by 0.33%. The effects of alcohol ingestion on appetite did not differ between meals consumed with wine or with tea. The desire to eat dessert was, however, reduced in the group that had consumed wine and schnapps, because you've already had a significant amount of sugar with that. Yeah. There is no correlation between appetite score and rate of gastric emptying. 5 participants reported dyspeptic symptoms, nausea, bloating, and discomfort of moderate intensity. Only 1 participant reported more severe symptoms, and the low scores reported by most participants. And the presence of outliers prevented meaningful statistic. So everybody was getting, the cheese was too much. Yeah. Everybody was getting shit from the cheese. Okay. So the discussion, it's not much more in this one because this one was very technical. So I tried to really break it down in terms we could all understand. So in Switzerland, cheese fondue is a meal served on festive occasions and when family and friends get together. It is among the most popular dishes ordered by tourists in Switzerland.
I'm definitely ordering it.
Oh, yeah. When I ever get there. Those familiar with the local customs, perhaps having read the classic reference Asterix in Switzerland, will know that there can be punishments for fondue eaters who lose their bread in the cheese.
Oh.
Do not lose your bread in the cheese, Laura.
Wow.
It can range from an extra shot of schnapps to being thrown into a freezing lake. You lost your bread, into the lake you go.
Wow.
This kind of psychosocial stress is likely to affect gastric function and could trigger dyspeptic symptoms. If I'm going to have to go in a freezing lake, I'm going to shit
feel
myself.
Sick.
Yep, yeah. I'm going to feel gross. In this study, the participants consumed fondue from individual servings, so avoiding potential embarrassment to those less skillful with a fork. Moreover, in compliance with the stringent requirements of the local ethics committee, no punishments were threatened or meted out.
Nice.
The results showed that drinking white wine with a high-fat, high-energy meal such as Swiss cheese fondue decreases the rate of gastric emptying compared with black tea. Taking shots of spirit after the meal has additional GI effects.
Yes.
At the highest doses studied, alcohol seemed to suppress appetite after the meal. However, irrespective of beverage, dyspeptic symptoms were reported only occasionally by the healthiest. The cheese is going to give you gas. All right, guys? All right. So that's about it. I mean, if you drink alcohol with the cheese, you're going to feel fuller longer than if you drink it with the
black tea.
The black tea.
You're going to feel better with the black tea.
And if you take any schnapps after your Swiss cheese fondue, you are also going to reduce the rate of gastric emptying. There was a side note that if you put a lot of sweetener in your tea, like 12 spoons of sugar, you're going to have the same effect as the alcohol.
Yeah, because it's the same thing.
So I think it's more related to the fact sugar is going to make you feel, and then that's why they also didn't want dessert afterwards.
Is a schnapps? Schnapps must be like a thing there that you just do after.
Well, we're going to have to find out.
We're going to have to find out.
We are going to have to take a trip and
it's
find
not
out.
peppermint schnapps.
The hills are alive. Well, let's go, Laura. I want to dance around the hills.
All right.
Okay. Take it away.
So now I'm getting into Christmas.
Ding, ding, ding.
This study was published on November 17th, 2019. What would happen if Santa Claus was sick? His impact on communicable disease transmission. These are actual studies.
Yep.
All right. So this is by Yuki Furusa. That's probably not how you say that, but in some areas of the world, it is believed that Santa Claus brings presents to children on Christmas Eve. While it is unclear whether only good boys and girls receive presents, it is reported that more than 90% of children are visited by Santa Claus at Christmas. It is possible that he could spread pathogens if infected with a communicable disease at the time of his yearly visit. In this study, we used mathematical modeling to investigate the probability and impact of influenza and measles transmission by Santa Claus on Christmas Eve.
Well, if you got your vaccines, you don't have to worry about the measles.
Yeah. We simulated infectious disease transmission by Santa Claus and its consequences in a discrete time stochastic SARE. Susceptible, exposed, infectious, and recovered. That's like the stages. Compartmental module. The details of our methodology are described in the online supporting information. I'm not reading that.
No, I mean, they got really technical. I was shocked at how...
A for real study.
Yeah, I was shocked at how intense these studies were.
Potential efficiency of disease transmission from Santa Claus to children, including airborne, droplet, direct or indirect contact transmission, was initially assumed to be equivalent to that for transmission from other adults. As contacts between Santa Claus and individual children, however, are transient and therefore less likely to result in disease transmission, we also included a Santa factor that accounted for different levels of transmission efficiency. So because Santa's just in and out and he's not like sitting and talking to you like a normal adult would, it's less of a chance of getting sick from Santa.
Most of the people are in bed, supposedly, when he comes around.
To assess the impact of a visit by Santa Claus on influenza transmission, we assumed the location of our simulation to be the Northern Hemisphere, where Santa visits children in the middle of a seasonal influenza outbreak.
Oh.
The population infection rate for an influenza outbreak in the absence of a visit by Santa Claus was 18.7%. When Santa Claus was infected with influenza and contact with children was as efficient as that of generic adults for transmitting disease, which is a Santa factor 1, the infection rate increased to 20.9%.
Oh, Santa.
The numbers of infected children and adults both increased, but these increases were not found when the Santa factor was set to 0.1 or 0.01.
These people have too much time on their hands.
In the measles simulation, we introduced one infected generic adult or infected Santa Claus into a population of 10,000 people on a day. On day one, when vaccination coverage was 95% for children and 90% for adults, introducing one infected adult did not cause any disease transmission in 70% of simulations. So, get your vaccines. In the remaining 30%, fewer than 150 people were infected. When the disease was introduced by infected Santa Claus, Santa factor 1, at least one transmission occurred in 100% of simulations. But the final size of the outbreak was small, fewer than 150 infected persons.
Oh, Santa.
Hold on. There's a lot of graphs.
It's like there was all these studies. I'm like, how do I break this down? And like just the fondue one was tough. I'm not going to lie.
We also tested a scenario in which vaccination coverage was only 85% among children, but 90% among adults. Introducing one infected generic adult into the population caused no transmission in 64% of simulations, a small outbreak in 15%, and a large outbreak in 21%.
Oh, no, not a large outbreak.
Again, vaccines. When Santa Claus had measles and Santa factor 1, all simulations resulted in a large outbreak.
Wow. As
did 77% of simulations with Santa factor set to 0.1.
Oh, so Santa's just a vector of infection.
If these there needs to be more than 85% vaccines for
Right.
children. We found that disease transmission by Santa Claus potentially has a great impact on public health. When Santa Claus was infected with influenza and transmitted the disease effectively through contact with children, the final size of a seasonal outbreak increased slightly, but statistically significantly. The impact of Santa Claus visiting was even greater for measles. Visits while he was measles infected typically caused large outbreaks, especially when vaccination coverage was low. We also found, however, that the impact of visits by Santa Claus when he had a communicable disease was markedly reduced when the contact of children with Santa Claus was limited. So stay in bed.
Yeah. You don't want to be sneaking around finding a Santa with measles.
A reduction in the effectiveness of disease transmission could be achieved by Santa Claus minimizing contact time during his distribution of presents and his adhering to standard precautions, including hand washing and wearing a mask. We hope that Santa Claus will distribute only presents this year, not pathogens, and that his laughter is the only thing found to be infectious.
Oh, Santa.
Like real life
graphs.
shots.
Somebody spent time doing this. Yes. Well, I'm going to follow that up with is Santa Claus a public health pariah? This was December of 2009. I don't know who wrote it. NJ Grills. Oh, Nathan Grills and Brendan Holiday.
Okay.
Santa is a late adopter of evidence-based behavior change and continues to sport a rotund, sedentary image. He's a big fatty, is what they're saying. All right. Santa's contemporary image was cemented by the Coca-Cola Company that began in the 1930s. By the mid-1950s, he became the leading sales consultant for numerous other companies and products Santa can sell. Today, he is one of the biggest sellers at Christmas and appears in adverts on television, the internet, billboards, and shopfronts.
True, that is true.
He is a symbol. Public health needs to be aware of what giant multinational capitalists realized long ago. Santa sells, and sometimes he sells harmful products. Several countries like the UK limit what can be advertised to children. Since Santa is a childhood icon, should we prevent him from selling products such as alcohol and unhealthy foods?
Probably.
You would think. You don't want Santa the booze bag.
Right.
Santa
like, hey, have some nips.
Hey, kid, we got some McGillicuddies for you. It comes in all flavors. God, the teenagers would love that, wouldn't they? Okay. All of McGillicuddies is...
Yeah, I mean, it's all bad, but root beer.
Epidemiologically, I can never say these words, there is a correlation between countries that venerate Santa Claus and those who have high levels of childhood obesity.
Oh.
This is a stretch.
Well,
okay. Although, given the various co-founders, it is premature to conclude causality. There is a temporal pathway whereby Santa promotes a message that obesity is synonymous with cheerfulness and joviality.
It's true.
Yeah. Rear Admiral Galson, acting U.S. Surgeon General in 2007, commented, "It is really important that the people who kids look up to as role models are in good shape, eat well, and they're getting exercise." Okay, who do we have to look forward to in that in the United States now?
No one.
If no one else but Santa Claus. He gets gifts to everybody in one night.
One night.
That's something.
Nothing much the rest of the year, though.
It is absolutely critical that they have these role models. He went on to explain that Santa should slim down. I think he's fat-shaming Santa. He couldn't do that now. He's fat-shaming Santa.
You have, like, those poor reindeer pulling that sleigh.
Well, there's, 12 of them? How many? Donna, Dancer, Prancer, Cancer, was it 8 or 9 of them? There's a lot of them. They can do it. I mean, he's all right.
Yeah.
To create a supportive environment for Santa, dieting, we should cease the tradition of leaving him cookies. Okay? We're not helpful. Mince pies, milk, brandy or sherry. Who leaves Santa brandy or sherry?
Sherry for Santa.
I wouldn't mind some brandy or sherry out there for Santa, but we don't. It's milk.
Milk
and cookies.
Probably also not good.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of lactose.
We should just do water.
This is bad not only for Santa's waistline, but for parental obesity. When Santa is full, Dad is a willing help. That's who's drinking the sherry and the brandy.
Yeah.
Dad gets to before Santa shows up.
He can't drink that much. He'd never get through the night.
No. God, he'd be
puking up the sleigh.
We get into that,
sorry.
okay? Mm-hmm. Maybe we should encourage Santa, parentheses, and his helpers to share the carrots and celery sticks commonly left for Rudolph. Mm. What about the other fuckers pulling the sleigh? I mean, Rudolph gets all the credit.
I always
Donner, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid.
the reindeer.
Right. I mean, well, there's
It
like
wasn't
3
for
carrots.
Rudolph
You need to
specifically.
leave out like a dozen carrots.
That's true.
There's a lot of reindeer up there, okay?
No one's eating all those carrots.
Nobody is eating those carrots. Now I've lost my space. Okay. Santa might also be encouraged to adopt a more active method to deliver toys, swapping his reindeer for a bike or simply walking
I mean,
or
he
jogging.
could pull the sleigh for a little bit.
How is he going to walk across the ocean? He's not Jesus
The
Christ.
same thing he gives the reindeer to fly.
But it says walk or jog. What's he walking across the North Sea?
Yeah, he can just sprinkle some of that dust on himself.
I mean, give the guy a break. He's got to do the whole world in 24 hours. He needs a little more speed.
Little physicality never hurt anybody.
Well, endorsing smoking. Santa was a former lead salesman for the cigarette company. Didn't know that.
No.
However, thankfully, he has been banned from overtly advertising cigarettes in many countries. Smoke up, Johnny. Here's a pack of Camels. Smoke them up. No filters. Referring to a letter in which Santa claims he quit, John Banshoff, an anti-smoker advocate, said, "Christmas is about the children. And it is wonderful that Santa Claus is setting such a powerful example in protecting them from tobacco smoke pollution. Perhaps the most important and lasting gift any smoker can give a child is to give up smoking, or at least to stop smoking around the child.
Yeah, well.
Unless you're Santa and you smoke a pipe that smells amazing.
I mean, I do.
Who doesn't love a fucking pipe? Okay?
I do love the smell
I
of a pipe.
don't think we should take the pipes away. I like pipes.
I like pipes too.
Okay. So he's a smoker. He's fat. He's a reckless role model. His public health image in relation to injury prevention has been questioned.
Well,
The tradition of leaving him a cup of brandy led one mother to worry that my kids are going to think I am encouraging drunk driving. With a few billion houses to visit, he would quickly be over the limit. However, another blogger responded to the concern that technically he isn't driving.
no, Rudolph's driving.
Rudolph and the reindeers are driving, so he's technically not drunk
He's
driving.
he's actually the other DD.
Exactly.
He's actually being
being a
responsible.
responsible driver. He could smoke his pipe outside.
Yeah.
tote
He's in the
back
fresh air all
yes,
night.
having a few brandies, and the reindeer know where they're going.
Right.
It's what they do.
Right.
All right. Other dangerous activities that he could be accused of include speeding, disregard for road rules,
I mean,
extreme sports such as roof surfing and chimney jumping.
that's true. That should be discouraged. That should be discouraged.
Nope. It's like spring break up there.
That should definitely be discouraged.
Despite the risk of high-speed air travel, Santa is never depicted wearing a seatbelt or a helmet in that big sleigh of his.
That is true.
Things that I never contemplated in my lifetime. All right. A quick perusal through the Victorian infectious disease surveillance records. Did you know there was a Victorian
didn't.
infectious disease surveillance
We
record,
need
Laura?
to look through that. Really.
That's our next episode. Shows no notifications of infectious disease outbreaks associated with kissing Santa. Although there were no cases of infectious mononucleosis associated with Santa, there has been numerous foodborne viral and salmonella outbreaks associated with Christmas parties. Santa was not named as a suspect point source.
Oh, thank God.
Surveillance programs do not routinely collect data on Santa exposure, but temporarily at least, Santa is potentially a point source for infectious disease outbreaks,
As we said.
as you said. Basic hygiene issues arise from interactions with him. One survey found that Santa is sneezed or coughed up on 10 times a day.
Ew.
The potential for Santa in his asymptomatic phase to propagate an infectious disease is clear. Unsuspecting little Johnny gets to sit on Santa's lap, but as well as his present, he gets H1N1 influenza. Poor Johnny.
Poor Johnny.
Santa continues on his merry way and gives the presents to a few more 100 kids before coming down with the flu himself. This then becomes a contact tracer's nightmare. It's fucking study.
And what's he going to do? Like, he obviously has to go whether he's sick or not.
Right.
Right.
The reindeer know where they're going, so he
I
just
mean,
eats a
what are you
couple
gonna
of
do?
brandy.
Kids, I can't bring
Right.
it tonight.
You
I'm
take some
sick.
NyQuil, some brandy, you're good to
Yeah.
go. In America, some Santas are subjected to criminal background checks and pre-employment drug screens. However, there is no standardized requirement for Santa to have a medical checkup or even prove his immunization status. Regulations to mitigate this public health risk should be considered. Clearly, basic Santa education and Santa screening are warranted.
Clearly.
Even more concerning is how Santa's travels might contravene the international health regulations in the context of an outbreak of new infectious disease, such as avian influenza.
That's true.
In the case of a public health emergency, WHO may institute measures to prevent the international spread of disease. However, Santa flouts these requirements. For surveillance at designated airports, ports, and certain crossing grounds, he flouts them. And the international regulations do not mention how to control his transnational, unconventional public health threat! Exclamation point! Fucking Santa's getting a bad rap in this one. Conclusion. Santa studies is a developing field in public health, and currently there is a disappointing lack of rigorous research on the effect of Santa on public health. More targeted research is required before authorities might take action to regulate Santa's activities. This research should particularly focus on the ability of Santa to encourage unhealthy behavior, the use of Santa in advertising to kids, and the infection disease risk of Santa impersonators. Bump, bump, bump. We need to be aware that Santa has an ability to influence people, and especially children, towards unhealthy behavior. Given his universal appeal, in reasoning from a population health perspective, Santa needs to affect health by only 1.1% to damage millions of lives.
Wow.
We propose a new image for Santa to ensure that his influence in public health is a positive one.
I mean, he could use to lose a few lbs.
But he wouldn't be jovial.
But why? You can be jovial
How's
and
he going to
skinny.
fill out that suit? That suit's going to look ridiculous.
You could wear a couple sweatshirts underneath to stay warm.
Or we could tailor it. Like
Yeah,
a Tom
he
Ford
could be
suit.
like a hot Santa.
He could be hot. He could be a silver fox.
Mums will be like waiting up.
I was watching something, and we were at a play, and it was the Titanic, and the captain was a good-looking guy, and I said to Brian, "Ooh, he's a silver fox," and he's like, "What?" I'm like, "A silver fox? You haven't heard that?" I'm like, "Santa could be a silver fox." I'm telling you, those older guys that in their 60s,
And they do that beard.
Oh, the trim beard. When I was in Texas,
I mean, you have more silver than brown.
that's true. I was in Texas and we went into this boot store, and I literally stopped and gaped at the counter as this gentleman who was the hottest silver fox I've ever seen in my lifetime. He walked off the cover of GQ, the tailored white beard, white hair, blue eyes, tan. I was like, ladies, that's the most attractive man I've ever seen in my life. And they were like, take it easy. I'm like, no, look at him. I almost followed him out of the store. I'm like, he is gorgeous. But yeah, I would have taken him in a heartbeat. Well, so if I can get a Santa like that, then he can trim
that's
down.
what I'm saying. Maybe
we
we
had a
trim him down a little
tailored
bit.
red suit. It'd be like 007 up there.
Yeah.
All right, take us away to the end.
All right. So this isn't any studies. This is an article from Science Based Medicine. It's called Medical Fun with Christmas Carols by Harriet Hall, and it's from December 22nd, 2009. She
Hall.
has a warning.
Uh-oh.
If you are offended by humor that depends on psychiatric and medical diagnoses, read no further. So listen.
Here's your
no
warning.
further.
If you get offended easily,
Yeah.
it's time to end the podcast.
So this is Christmas Carols for the psych ward
I'm already going to love it.
for the schizophrenia diagnosis. Do you hear what I hear? Multiple personality disorder. We three kings disoriented are. Amnesia. I don't know if I'll be home for Christmas. Narcissistic. Hark the herald angels sing about me.
I don't know if I'll be home for Christmas. I don't even know who I am.
I don't know.
Who are you?
Manic. Deck the halls and malls and house and lawn and streets and stores and offices, in town and cars and buses and trucks and trees and fire hydrants.
And buy airplane tickets for me and my family. Get a cruise. Let's go here.
Paranoid. Santa Claus is coming to get me.
I can't read these.
Obsessive compulsive disorder. Jingle bells, 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 jingle bells.
Oh my God, I'm gonna vomit.
Senile dementia. Walking in a winter wonderland miles from my house in my slippers and robe.
And the police have to take me home.
Okay.
Oh my God, I'm sweating.
All right. Christmas carols for other medical conditions. I can't even say this.
I think the OCD is my favorite. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells. Oh.
Mumps, the chipmunk song. Depression, Blue Christmas. Rosacea, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Rhino Feynman patient. Hypothyroidism, baby, it's cold outside. And inside, too. Obesity, we want some figgy pudding.
We're gonna get canceled.
I didn't write these. I wish I was this clever. Oh my God. I can't say this right. Scotomas, which is defects in your visual field. Oh, holy night. I can't say any of these right. Edentulous. All I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth, along with the rest of them. Alcoholic. Here we come a-wassailing. Deaf. Silent night. Tinnitus. Jingle bells.
My husband has tinnitus all the time. Oh, shit.
Narcolepsy. Shepherds, shake off your drowsy sleep. Christmas carols for complimentary and alternative medicine. Chiropractors. Grandma got run over by a reindeer, and we can fix the resulting subluxations. Acupuncture, the 12 acupoints of Christmas. Homeopathy. Kissing by the mistletoe. Viscum album, 1 drop of mistletoe extract diluted to 30 cc's and deposited on a sugar pill. Shaken, not stirred. Customer for penis enlargement products. I have a little dreidel. I'm so glad you didn't read these.
I
Colon cleansing. Come all ye feces full.
Oh my God, I'm gonna vomit.
Faith healers. Rise up out of your wheelchair, shepherds, and follow.
I have a little dreidel. Oh my God.
I think that's about it.
I have a little dreidel. Wow. That was hysterical.
Now, we did not write those.
No, we did not.
And
We
there
just
was
read
a
them.
warning not to listen.
Jingle balls, jingle balls, jingle balls, jingle balls. Mannequin. Oh my God, those were fucking hysterical. Oh, okay. Well, 'tis the season.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you guys are all laughing this hard at your holiday events. I literally almost threw up during that. I have to pee. I'm going to vomit. Whew. Okay. So that's one Christmas episode for you. As we told you, the next one's going to be literally a hodgepodge of a bunch of shit we thought of. We're literally at work one night, we're like, I don't know, let's do this. And we started pulling all this shit up, and now you're going to get it all.
Yeah.
So enjoy. Stay safe.
Yeah.
Have the reindeer drive you home if you're out.
Get a DD,
having a great
like
night.
Rudolph. Yep.
Happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy every other holiday that's celebrated in this month.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Bye.
Bye.
Like, subscribe, rate, and review the Scissors and Scrubs podcast on whatever podcast app you listen to us on. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Scissors and Scrubs. And email us any of your stories or thoughts to scissorsandscrubs@gmail.com.